In today's news, we unpack Michigan's State of the University address and take a look at the status of the Epstein files in Congress.
We will also discuss Michigan's Marriage Pact and its popularity on campus.
And finally, we look back on the week in Detroit sports.
All that and more on this week's edition of Wolf TV Newsfeed.
Hello and welcome to Newsfeed. I'm Sean Henderson.
And I'm Carson Downer. This week, there was a major step toward the push to unveil the Epstein files, with the files now one step closer to being released by the Justice Department. Valeria Morales has more.
After months of delays and pushback from the White House, lawmakers in the House and Senate voted to compel the Justice Department to release all of its files on the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
The yeas are 427, the nays are 1.
The momentum behind this did not come from politicians. It came from survivors and the public who demanded answers.
The vote comes after President Trump made a sharp U-turn to back the bill once it became clear a majority of Republicans supported it. Here's what he had to say at the White House today.
You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today.
But Trump supporters pushed the issue, and it's created a rift within the Republican Party, including with Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie.
And he called me a traitor for standing with these women.
We fought the president, the attorney general, the FBI director, the Speaker of the House, and the vice president to get this win.
And Epstein survivors in the shadow of the Capitol this morning, many of whom have been fighting for years to be heard and believed.
This is not an issue of a few corrupt Democrats or a few corrupt Republicans. This is a case of institutional betrayal.
So you have a choice to show millions of Americans whether you stand with us or with the powerful predators that are counting on your complicity.
Now that the bill has passed Congress, it heads to the White House, where President Trump has signaled that he will sign it. For Wolf TV Newsfeed, I'm Valeria Morales.
Last week, interim President Domenico Grasso hosted his first and only State of the University address, outlining major initiatives shaping UM's future. Grasso acknowledged his temporary role as the search continues for a new president after Santaono's resignation last spring.
Grasso highlighted two major investments: the new Institute for Civil Discourse, which is a new initiative aimed at strengthening dialogue across differences, and a $250 million Biomedical Innovation Institute.
The address also featured presentations from faculty and students showcasing recent work, representative of the 5 themes of Look to Michigan campaign. Grasso closed by praising the accomplishments of the university and thanking the community.
Several University of Michigan artists have accused university unions of unprofessionalism and censorship after major changes to their visual history of the union's exhibition. Originally intended for the prominent high-traffic locations, the art show was reduced in scope and tucked away in a small opera lounge, sparking outrage among participants.
Artists say their work, which includes themes like student protest, diversity, and activism, was sidelined following vague communication and backlash, especially regarding a quilt referencing a pro-Palestine campus protest. 12 artists sent a letter demanding the university restore the exhibition to its original scale and location, citing a lack of transparency and concerns over artistic freedom.
University administrators insist that the chosen setting allows for a more cohesive presentation and report positive feedback from visitors. However, critics believe that these decisions limit visibility and contradict the university's stated values of activism and open dialogue.
This year's Michigan Marriage Pact is now live. Using Nobel Prize-winning economics, the Marriage Pact gives participants their optimal backup plan out of everyone on campus.
The Marriage Pact features a series of questions students fill out regarding themselves and their preferences for a partner. Matches are then made, and students can contact their match. At the time of production, there are about 1,480 submissions. You can fill out the form today to find your perfect match.
During the recently concluded government shutdown, a lack of air traffic controllers caused major delays on flights nationwide. But things seem to be turning around just before the Thanksgiving holiday. Sarah Youssef has more.
If you're a Michigan student heading home or heading out for Thanksgiving break next week, there's some good news coming out of Detroit Metro Airport. After weeks of travel headaches caused by the record 43-day federal government shutdown, the FAA has officially lifted all flight restrictions at DTW. Those limits had forced Detroit, along with nearly 40 major airports across the country, to cut flights by as much as 6%. As of 6 a.m. Monday, operations returned to normal, and airlines have been able to restore their full schedules. That means more seats, more flights, and fewer bottlenecks just as the Thanksgiving travel rush approaches. For students flying out of DTW this week or the next, the airport should feel more manageable than it has in over a month. Lines are moving faster, schedules are stabilizing, and your odds of getting where you're going on time are looking a lot better. Still, with the heavy holiday travel ahead, it's smart to arrive early, pack some patience, and keep an eye on airline alerts. But for now, after weeks of uncertainty, the skies over Detroit Metro Airport are finally clear, just in time to get Michigan students home for the holiday. For Wolf TV Newsfeed, I'm Sarah Youssef.
And now, to catch you up on the week in Detroit sports, Valeria Morales joins us at the desk.
Recapping sports, following a rocky 9-16 loss against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Detroit Lions season is in limbo. Between questionable play selection and Philadelphia's defense completely shutting down a frantic Jared Goff, the 6-4 Lions may need to re-strategize to succeed in the second half of their regular season campaign. The Detroit Pistons are hot right now on a 10-game win streak at the time of production. Over the past week, the team beat the Pacers, 76ers, and Bulls, putting them at the top of the Eastern Conference and second in the NBA overall. The Red Wings nearly walked away with 3 wins over the week, facing off against the Rangers, Sabres, and Ducks. However, the Red Wings fell to a 2-1 record on the week, losing to the Sabres in overtime on Saturday night. That's all for this week's Newsfeed Sports Report. Back to you.
Thank you, Valeria. And finally, the Ross Entertainment Conference, an up-and-coming event for the film and television community, held its second conference earlier this month. Bella Reed was there and takes an inside scoop into the conference.
Hi, this is Bella Reed from Wolf TV, and today we're at the Ross School of Business to cover the second annual Ross Entertainment Conference. Ross Entertainment Conference is a student organization that connects entertainment businesses with U of M students. The conference brings notable names in the industry to Ross School of Business for presentations and networking. I sat down with Presidents Vivica Henry and Henry Connor for more. Can you tell us a little bit about the Ross Entertainment Conference and how it came to be?
Yeah, 100%. So we were originally the undergraduate entertainment and media club here at Ross. We were an open club, and we would just kind of do pretty general meetings.
And then we rebranded to REC, which we're super excited about. The idea is we really just wanted to bridge the gap in the Midwest and bring film out here. We felt like there's a lot of stories that needed to be told and students that needed access to these companies. So really having that sort of equitable standpoint is super important. Our end goal is to have it so if you think of film in the Midwest, you think of Michigan. If you think of Michigan, you think of REC. And so we want this to be the hub for everybody, not just students.
And obviously this is the second year for the Ross Entertainment Conference, or the second conference. So can you tell us a little bit about the differences you see between the first conference and today's?
Yeah, so the first conference, that was entirely planned by 7 people, me, Vivica, and the team of 5. So that was definitely a lot more hectic and chaotic. Yeah. The hardest parts of building a conference come before the day of. And when there's 7 people, it's a little different than when we have a team now of over 40.
I'm looking at this room right now, and it's probably quadruple what we had day of last year. We almost grew 6 times, and it's just been phenomenal. We have a lot of great energy, a lot of people who see our vision, which we love and we are super thankful for. So I think that's honestly the biggest difference, is just we've scaled, and it's been amazing.
A conference like this takes a lot of planning. Can you explain a little bit about what that was like, or maybe some challenges that you encountered throughout the way?
Yeah, so something that was unique with us is, as you know, this is our second conference, but it's our second one in the same calendar year. So our first one was in March, and now we're in November. So we really had no breaks between planning. There was a lot of overlap.
I think obviously we're still a very new club, so a big challenge has been continuing to grow our presence on campus and at the university, But I think just because of such the differentiation we have with being the only entertainment-focused, film and TV-focused conference has really allowed us to grow our presence, because we do have a need that, people want to come out and see.
I think in the end, we all work together in forming what sort of club we want to see. I think that's the beauty of being such a a new club and such a young club is we're able to build it together, and so it benefits everybody.
How do you see rec growing in the future? What do you guys hope to achieve in the future with the conference?
Yeah. I think this year we have a lot more ticket sales. We've grown. I think obviously if you look at it from a metrics point of view, next conference, more ticket sales, more people in our club, more speakers, right? More panels, more partners.
We scaled this much just for our second conference, and it's going to be even bigger for the third, which I won't be here for, unfortunately, as a student, but I'm so excited to see what happens next year. I think we'll have even more panels, even more companies coming out here. Really, the biggest thing is building those streamlines of getting companies out here, recruiting the top students, and making it accessible for everyone. So the sky's the limit, and I just know we're going to be huge. So I'm super excited.
That's all for today. I'm Bella Reed from Newsfeed. Follow Wolf TV UMich on Instagram for more, and as always, go Blue.